Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, people. I thought I had to come with the Grizz introduction. First thing on the agenda. I'm your host today. Grizz is gonna get. We're gonna hear some of Grizz's opinions. He's not gonna sit on the fence all day long. Welcome, people. Hope you're enjoying the heat. Thanks for coming before Love Island ended. I had to make that tough sacrifice. So whatever. But yeah, here we are. Premier League season's back, 22-23 season. And we've got three big dogs in the building. I'm gonna start with you, Grizz. How does it feel to be being asked the questions today?
Feels fine. It feels fine. I'm equally comfortable, especially when I'm in the presence of royalty like I am in today. I just feel like, you know, I'm mixing it with my boys. You get me? So when you're mixing it with your boys, it's all nice and relaxed. I'm more nervous with you, like in my hot seat. I'm more nervous with you in control of all the controls. But look, people can't say I'm a man of my word. People know in the chat that I said if there's any chance Omer gets the right score, he will get to host the show. And I'm a man of my word. I really was looking forward to hosting this, but fair's fair, game's game. Omer got the prediction spot on, bang on, and so therefore, big up yourself. But yeah, apart from that, it's hot, it's sweaty. I've given like a month's earnings to the ice cream guy. I've realized it's my next port of call. I'm telling you now. Listen, Avi, can you, like me and you, can we sort out an ice cream van next year? I'm telling you now, I'm investing in an ice cream van. It is the business. It's the go-to business. And check this one out, people. Me and Errol and Avi, Holmes, maybe not in your day. Well, in fact, might be in your day. But lads, was there ever an ice cream man that took card payment in our day?
Oh
Nope.
no, it's always cash.
It was always pennies, right?
Coins,
Cash.
coins, yeah.
So I tried to get out of it. Yeah, I tried to get out of it with the family and say, "Oh, I've got no money on me, got no cash." The guy goes, "I take card payment."
He probably takes crypto payment these days.
I wouldn't be
Everyone's accepting
surprised.
everything.
I wouldn't be
Crypto
surprised if he
card
takes
out.
crypto. So I turned around. I said, "Are you serious, brother?" He goes, "Very serious." He just smiled at me. £18 on ice creams, guys. £18 on ice creams. Are you mad? It used to be flake 99 for a reason. It used to be 99p my day. It's £4 £4 on ice cream now.
It's called
This is
inflation,
mental.
Grizz. It's called
I
inflation.
don't know what it's called, man, but I don't like it. But apart from that, it's all good. Hot, sunny. I finished loads of squash bottles, 4 or 5 ice creams, 3 showers. We're good to go. We're good to go. Yeah, all right. Relax on that part, innit? I shower regularly.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Just wasting so much water, aren't you? Errol, how we doing, my man? How you enjoying this weather? Are you enjoying it as much as me?
I'm good. I'm enjoying the weather, to be honest with you. I'm cooler. To be fair, I did make a rookie error. I came on without a t-shirt on in it, and I just had a jacket over me. And Grizz pulled me on it straight away. So I was like, you know what?
So people are going to think you're mad. It's up to you. People are going to think you're mad.
Right,
He had a fleece on.
I was fine in my room, just chilling with it on. It was until I got the light behind the laptop. I got another light behind me, and now I'm just sitting there sweating under the light. So I was just like, you know what, I'll just throw a basketball top on one time and I'll be done with it. So yeah, other than that, the days have been lovely. Like, I put a tweet out there yesterday, my melanin was designed for days like today and yesterday. So I'm not really gonna cuss it out and wish it to go away straight away. Like, I'm kind of happy for a good couple of weeks of this kind of weather, as far as I'm concerned. It's been good.
Cool,
guys. Grizz would kill me if I don't ban this in. But Prince Daddy's on it. Get the likes in early, people. 300 likes and on this show live, and we'll do a part 2 of this predictions. We've got a part 2 lined up anyway, but it's nice to have a bit of a target. Avi, I'm going to come to you in a minute, but I'm not going to come to you yet because there's a reason why. But guys, what we're doing today, I was sat in the garden today, enjoying my life, sun, music, Grizz.
I said you're not allowed to reveal the rest. Just Sun's music is fine. You're not allowed to reveal.
You probably don't want me to reveal the rest, to be honest. Yeah. It's very
big brotherly like.
Yeah. But here, this is what we're doing. We're doing a Premier League table prediction. TV, Grizz Khan TV. Oh no, sorry, I've read that. I've butchered that. I'm your host and opinionating. We've got Grizz. We've got the man Errol Spence. and Avi, aka Blue Chip. So Avi, welcome back. It's been
Love
a
it.
while, bro.
Love it. Yeah. I'll take that off if I was you. My mum's watching. The last thing she wants to see is her son with a cigar in his mouth. So get that fucking off, man. No, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. Look, it's been a long time. Sometimes you need a break after the season that we had. It was exhausting. Waking up at 4 a.m. is no joke. Waking up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday to watch games out here in America ain't a joke. So took a nice little sabbatical break. But looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to this season. Looking forward to doing shows with you guys. I know that this channel it's growing at a rapid pace, and that's credit to yourself, Omer, Errol, Conroy, Steve, who's been a great addition. The flex boy, what's his name? Big Sexy K, Keith, Evan, obviously, my counterpart. So no, it's good to see the channel growing and growing.
Yeah, mate, it's good to have you back. Hopefully we've got a bit more handbags between you and Grizz tonight, because I think that's what the people.
No. I've learned my lesson. Yeah, I've learned my lesson. He just leaves me.
Right. Let's get cracking into it. But before we get cracking into it, we're gonna have to remind you to all hit the like button. I think there we go. Spartan with the plug. Become a member, guys. The perks are there. You want a little nice emoji next to you. You've got custom emojis. You've got Grizz's banter going on in the community tab, in the membership community tab. So what isn't there to love? But anyway, we're starting from the bottom, as Drake said.
Ooh.
And these are the boys' opinions, and we're just going to go left to right.
Errol, you're doing
Errol's got
Leeds, like
yeah.
fucking hell.
Well, anyway, listen, yeah, it's the first time we've seen them. We've got to explain that, isn't it? We don't know what each other's predicted, yeah.
So, we'll start with the relegation zone. I think, apart from the top four, the most interesting part of the table. And the way the show is going to go, we're just going to go from bottom all the way up, left to right, starting with Grizz, then to Avi, then to Errol. I feel like ending on Errol on each round might be the best thing, because he's got all the juice. So Grizz, talk me through what you're seeing here, because I'm seeing a lot of promoted teams going straight back down.
Yeah, I don't think it's very complicated this season. I genuinely don't, people. I hear the romance behind Nottingham Forest. Okay, it's been a while. One of the very few English teams that have won the European Cup, stroke Champions League, whatever. I get it. I get the romance behind it. Amazing crowd. The atmosphere is going to be banging, isn't it? Is it the county ground?
City
ground,
isn't it?
City ground, I think. Yeah. All right. Can you please, as when Avi says something, the rules.
I'm pretty sure it's the city. Isn't Forest playing the city ground?
Double check it when Avi says something, please. Everything. We don't let him get away with shit here. But yeah, City Ground. All right, it's true. He's right. City Ground. Mad atmosphere. I think Bournemouth are going to be too nice to stay up. What do I mean by that? Is they're going to play football. Scott Parker believes in the game should be played in a certain way. Good young coach. I give him that. I just don't see them, even if they take Nat Phillips from us, I just don't see them having the defense to not concede, man. And Dom Solanke as their striker. What were we saying?
Last year, though.
I hear you.
He's starting to get into the groove, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. But shut your mouth, all of you lot, because you lot all got relegated. Yeah, like pick on my team only. You lot got all relegated, and you're saying, "Oh, he's a bagsman and this and that."
I haven't got relegated.
Errol's got some hope in it. Right there.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Is it because of Solanke then?
He's a bagsman. I just done told you. He's a bagsman, isn't it?
Okay. Well, yeah. And Fulham gonna play some football. Fulham gonna take some scalps at home. Again, I just can't see Harry Wilson being the talisman. We've taken their real talisman, Fabio Carvalho.
But Grizz, they've brought well. Mano Salomon, the winger. João
Shaq, you're not
Palhinha, who's
swinging
been
it.
around and about in
See,
Portugal for a
João
bit.
Palhinha, he's a good player, solid DM, hard-working, box-to-box. Their version of, Rodri, Fabinho, whatever. He's in that mold of player. Yeah, he'll help them, but I think they're going to struggle scoring goals, guys. Mitrovic, yeah, he bagged loads and loads and loads. I can't see past the three that have come up. I obviously, when we go on to the next caption, we'll see who I've got sort of just about surviving. But I think all those surviving will have something that will make them survive. I don't know if any of these have got any X factor. I know Nico Williams. See, there's a Liverpool link in all of them, right?
Mostly,
Nico
yeah.
Williams,
Forest have got Steve Cooper,
Steve
who was our
Cooper,
coach.
Steve
Nico Williams,
Cooper.
Brennan Johnson. Will be good to see how he gets on this season.
Yeah, Brennan Johnson.
But then they've lost Jed Spence as well.
Exactly.
Good
So I'm very comfortable and confident with my 3 predictions.
If that happens, like, it's a bit boring, isn't it? You want to see some. You want to see some promoted teams cause a few shocks. So, Avi, you've got Fulham staying up.
I have. You know what? I think, in previous seasons when Fulham have come up, I think under Jokanovic and with Parker as well, they spent loads and they just brought abundance of players. But this season, you feel that Marco Silva has brought the right players. And he's only brought like 3-4 in so far. And I think he won't go above that. He's brought in, like I said, Palhinha and Mano Salomon, who's had a good sort of season, a good few years in Ukraine, I believe, at Donetsk.
Yeah.
Right. And then he's got Mitrovic, who has struggled in the Premiership. His goal return in the Premiership isn't great, but in the Championship it is. He's in one of those modes, a bit like Harry Wilson. They don't quite have that transition from the Championship or replicate that form into the Premiership. So I can see Fulham staying up. I really do see them staying up, just staying up. It'll be like they'll be there or thereabouts. But I see them staying up. I think Marco Silva is a good manager. He has a certain style. He didn't do too great at Everton, but neither does any sort of manager that takes that job, to be honest. But yeah, I see Fulham staying up.
I like this comment, that from Russ R. Dow. So happy Fulham bought preseason Pirlo from us. He's referring to Pereira of Man United.
Oh, just Pereira, yeah. He was out on loan in Brazil or something.
Yeah, he always smashes it in preseason for Man United and they get gassed and hyped. And then he gets shipped off to the likes of Fulham.
Yeah, he's their Carvalho replacement, isn't he? So
is he?
I believe so, because I don't know who else they've shot for in that sort of area. So personally, I think that's a bit of a downgrade. We'll see how he does, because he's always showed promise, but he's never kicked on at United.
I can see him playing more of a deep lying midfielder this season, Andres Pereira, as a centre midfielder, alongside maybe Palhinha and then another midfielder in their ranks. Not sure what Tom Kearney is doing these days, but I know he was at Fulham. But they're an interesting team. I think everyone I think it's a good little ground to go to as well, isn't it? Craven Cottage. It's always a good
one of my
away
favorite
day.
grounds.
Yeah, it's always a good away day. So no, I hope they stay up. Are we going to my other two as well?
Yeah, we are. Your other two are. What are we talking about? Forest.
So
and
Forest.
yeah.
I look. It's all that romance, isn't it? They were one of the originals when the Division 1 got changed to the Premier League. They've won 2 European Cups. We know the history of Forest, great ground. But yeah, I think they'll fall short. I think losing Jed Spence is huge. Keeping Brennan Johnson, who's been linked with a big move to the Premiership, to bigger clubs, I think keeping him is key if they have any chance of survival. But I feel they'll go down. Go on.
Do you not think the way they played against Premier League clubs last year in the FA Cup sort of puts them in good stead?
I think that's just the romance of the FA Cup, though, Omer. I think that's just the romance of the FA Cup. If they play these teams regularly, I think they will struggle. Steve Cooper's a good manager. He did a decent enough job at Swansea. They narrowly missed out on the playoffs. And now he's at Forest, got them up. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they go. And it'll be good to see Nico Williams. I think it's over a course of a season in the Premiership. I think a few clubs, if they do go down, might have a look at him. And is that right? They've got Taiwo Anawoyi as well, right?
Yes.
Ex-Liverpool player. So that
it's mad, isn't it? All of the relegation teams that we've spoken about have got links to Liverpool. Yeah, proper links. Mad.
And he's had a great season at Union Berlin last season. I think he got 18-20 goals last season. So it would be interesting to see how he gets on, German tax and all. But Yeah, I still think Forest will go down. Bournemouth, I think, is a given. I do like Scott Parker. I thought he did a good job at Fulham, even though the ownership, they just wanted to buy players in abundance, like I previously mentioned. And Southampton, I actually think is finally the year that they go down. I know they've brought some good players I know they've brought Roman Lavia, who I rate big time. I think he's a good talent. But I think they're just going to fall short. I don't think Armando Broja is going back there. I think he's West Ham
No, he's
bound.
going to West Ham, isn't he?
So, yeah, I think they'll fall short this season.
They're
They can't rely
always,
on a 36-year-old Shane Long.
They're always, yeah, true. They're always going on a run though. Southampton with Hasenhüttl, they'll have a spell losing like 10 games in a row, and then they'll turn into one of the hardest teams to beat in the league. But I do agree. There was a comment earlier to where they've been flirting with relegation for a while. They haven't really kicked on. I think they've gone backwards since they sort of stepped into the Premier League. So look, the writing could be on the wall. It was a bit like Burnley, teams that sort of just always did enough. And when you see a team like that don't really kick on, there's sort of a feeling that you kind of just want them gone. You can't, like, no disrespect to them, but you want to see new teams.
No, that is being disrespectful. You just literally said you kind of want them seeing gone. Like, what do you mean how can you say no disrespect after saying?
Yeah, but when you say no.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Hey, easy, calm. It's his first time hosting in front of the big boys.
Avi's back on the show.
In front of the big boys, you know? Come on, let's be nice.
Avi's back on the show, and the disrespect is back to like certain things.
He's got a bit of the swagger. I like it, Omer. Carry on.
Thank you. I'm gonna take that. I'm wrong with it. Yeah, like, do something, Southampton. I want them to. I want them to challenge for European places. Like, you're otherwise you're just taking up places in the league and like not playing like.
I got a question for Errol and Grizz. Errol, if you want to take this, do you think Hasenhüttl could have got a bigger job and should have left maybe a season earlier?
Potentially. I'm not saying necessarily a bigger job, but a job with a much more stable squad, which he could have actually developed and turned into something. I think he's kind of the type of manager that's got his own philosophy of style of want to play. And if he doesn't actually get back to be able to do it, he just looks kind of restrictive and runs out of ideas, as Omer was saying. Then, like, they end up going on a run of getting battered 10 games or something like that, and then they struggle to get out of that kind of form before they usually have to come and play us, and then all of a sudden turn into one of the 4 teams of the league. He was hotly tipped to be the next manager to go only a handful of weeks ago. So that level of uncertainty might play a knock-on effect as they go into the season. Who knows?
I don't think it's that he's a bad manager. I actually rate him as a good manager. I think when the vacancy opened up at United, I felt like he could have taken it. But
I don't think that's a bad hot take. I don't think that's a hot take at all. I actually agree with why you say that, Omer. I think under the right structure at United, if Rangnick had stayed, I think it could have worked out. But he would have to have got rid of the personalities that we know that exist at United.
Yeah, because that was the plan, wasn't it? Like, people were saying,
strip it all back. He'd have had to strip it all back.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Has he got the kahunas to do that?
If he's got the personality, no, that's the thing. I think
he doesn't come across. He don't. I actually think he might have, but he wouldn't have had the backing of the board because of his name in the game. Yeah, so you can we know Man United are the type of people to back a name as opposed to the person they believe in terms of his methods. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they would back someone like Ten Hag, who the media talks about the next best coach, the next best star, coming from Ajax footballing philosophy, so they're ready to back him. Whereas Hasenhüttl is a progressive coach. We know that he's a very good coach, but obviously has to work within his means at Southampton. They would think he's just another cog in the works. To get him, I don't think they would back him.
Yeah, even like another Nuno at Spurs.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that would be it. Nuno at Spurs, it would have been.
Right, we'll move on to Errol. Why are Bournemouth staying up? But actually, no, we'll wait. We'll leave that.
Couple of hot takes in there.
Yeah, I like it. I'm actually with Errol. I think Leeds are in trouble. If you want to like expand on your
get off.
Yeah.
Don't even.
Nah, do you know what it is? Like, obviously, that Jesse Marsh did all right when he came in, but at the same time, they could have been safe a couple of weeks before the end of the Premier League. And you
got to remember what he came to. Like,
no, I know. I fully get that. I fully get that. You know what I mean? Like, I get Bielsa had to go, and he just got them stuck in a rut where none of the players could get out of it. But I do think there was a few injury exceptions to Leeds last season. But
Bamford.
what happened with Bamford especially, but what happened with the injuries is obviously Callum Phillips was injured for a couple of months, Bamford was injured, and he missed a couple Phillips missed a couple of other players. But what we're forgetting now is Phillips has gone to Man City. So they kind of losing that structure in the middle. And Rafinha's gone as well. He's gone to Barca. So someone that has been an outlet for them and able to score and offer them that little bit of creativity, coupled with the fact that they struggled last season, and they are still going to be a team that is going to be very open. They can't switch it up now and going from 3-4 seasons of Bielsa's pragmatic kind of free-flowing football all of a sudden now to go to a pragmatic system where they are going to be backs against the walls. It's going to be 2 banks of 4, and they're going to be a little bit more backs against the walls. I don't think those set of players have got that in them at this moment in time. Whether that can be coached in them in the space of a season whilst fighting for relegation potentially is another question. But I feel like they are one that have kind of stepped one step too far, and now they will be well within that battle for the majority of next season in terms of relegation. So that's why I put them in obviously in like second to last place. I think I also put I wasn't Bournemouth there. It was,
you had
Brentford. No, it was Brentford. Yeah, I think again it's second season syndrome for Brentford. I think they will suffer from that. I think they got a good boost last season. I think they was up for it. They caused a few upsets. I know that we drew with them when we shouldn't have, but I just don't think they're going to have the legs this season. I don't think the squad is big enough to go for it again, and where they're not going to be able to necessarily kick on. So I don't think they're going to be better positioned than when they finished last season. What I did when I was going through mine last night was I had where they finished last season, and they finished 13th last season. Remember Brentford? So that was a really good finish for them.
Grizz tipped them to go down last season.
No problem.
Struggle.
No problem. I hold my hands up. First dig of the day, no problem. 10:30.
There'll be plenty more digs coming.
I don't see them better in that. That's why I'm thinking they're going to be the ones to suffer from that second season syndrome. And I think they will go back down in that respect. And then I think Fulham was my last place one there as well.
Fulham was.
I just don't think Fulham have got enough. They've lost a couple of key players, and I genuinely just don't think they will have enough to compete with the rest of the league. And they will be the Norwich of this season. They'll be everybody's whipping boys.
See, I agree with Brentford. I think a few comments are picking up here on Eriksen. I think before Eriksen came in, they were being tipped to go down. Like
I was right before Eriksen came in. So please,
ultimately you weren't, because they stayed up comfortably.
Yeah, but Eriksen changed this landscape. What am I supposed to do? Like, if Eriksen comes in and plays like Eriksen is a world-class talent, then obviously my prediction. If Bellingham
comes to Liverpool this season, we become title favourites. So it's
no, it's not the same.
It's the same thing. You're saying ifs and buts, but ultimately they finished whether or not they got Eriksen or not.
Okay,
we will never know. We will never know whether whether they would stayed up without Eriksen.
So we're doing this prediction table now.
Yeah.
If some of these teams make some signings, we're going to say, "Oh shit! Oh no! Can we do it again?" That's the way it works. We asked a prediction. Brentford, I said they will struggle. I was on cue. They were struggling. Eriksen comes in January.
Omer, have you got stats to bring up where Brentford were prior to Eriksen signing?
No, someone will find the stats. People of the chat, can we find Brentford's?
And we'll do a law of averages of where they would have finished without Eriksen. There you go.
Exactly.
Look, I think Eunice makes a good point. Bellingham's got to get involved. I'm sure I'll be able to sneak in some Jacob Ramsey and Jack Grealish propaganda before the show's done. But I mean, I'm looking at this, and
I'm not gonna lie. I think they're wild. I think Errol's being wild.
I think Errol's being reasonable.
That's what I'm saying. I've given valid reasons as to why they could all go down.
I can see the Brentford reasoning. I can see the second season syndrome. I can see that. I don't know if they've invested that heavily this summer, but the Leeds one is a wild shout. And look, that maybe I'm showing favoritism because Jesse Marsh is American.
By the way, Errol,
Tyler Adams.
Jesse Marsh is American, and that's why he's got like.
But look, they've brought well. Brandon Eriksson, Sonny Perkins from West Ham is a huge talent. They've got in Sinistra, the next Luis Diaz. Apparently, he's coming for us. Had a good season.
People
Joe
mark all these
Gill-
down. People
They've
mark
lost
all these down.
they've lost that established spine from what was keeping them in the Prem. And when that had went, that took the wind out of the sails. Then they lost the guy that was at the helm of it all, even though it was already at breaking point at that point. And now you're going into a second season or a third season with a brand new manager, expecting him to assemble a team and compete and be competitive enough. I just don't think the style of football can change enough. If they, you know what Leeds need? Leeds need what's that when you go on like a gap year? They just need that gap year to kind of just go away, restructure, reshape, and then potentially come back into the Premier League with a new model. I think they'd be better off in a season outside the Prem to do that. I don't think they can manage that both while still playing in the Premier League.
I think Ali, just a quick one, Omer. Ali A has missed out the biggest name that they brought. He's a very good, talented player, Mark Roca from Bayern. That's a good astute signing. And I know they're missing. Look, Calvin Phillips was the heartbeat of that team. Bamford was injured. Rafinha. If they can get Bamford back playing again, if he can recover from that ankle injury that he's been suffering from for the last year, they will be safe. They'll be more than safe.
Can I ask, if unless I'm ill-informed, have they brought in a striker? A striker?
No. Well, they're relying on Joe Gelhardt, really.
Okay.
And obviously Bamford.
Okay. If they're relying on Bamford and Gelhardt, I actually rate Gelhardt very highly. But if they haven't brought in a striker, I agree. Mark Roca is a very astute signing. I spoke about it as well on another show. I think that's because he's a very good player. We were linked with him before he went to Bayern, but obviously it didn't work out at Bayern. I like him. I think Jesse Marsch is very often unfairly criticised. I'll back you on that as well. I think they're going to continue getting streaky results here and there, and then obviously losing where they shouldn't, drop points. I personally think they'll just have enough. Fair enough. Errol thinks they're going down. Obviously, we'll see where Avi had them, but I just think
got them in the top four. Got them in the top four.
I just think Brentford is a tricky one, man. Like, there's rumours of Tony wanting to leave. What if he leaves before the end of the window? Do you know what I mean? Then we might agree. I might agree with Errol, but I don't know.
Brentford are like Errol said. Like, people started to figure them out. It's just, I think the kick up the backside that they got from Ericsson arriving, that just pushed them onto another level. And now they were expecting to get Ericsson again, and they haven't. So it's just deflated them. That's why I think your lead shout isn't because like when you lose Rafinha and Phillips, who are your two best players, who have carried that team at times,
literally,
yeah, like their whole attack pretty much went through Rafinha. Every time I saw Leeds,
he was flirting with relegation last season anyway, up until that point, and that's with them in the squad.
Yeah. I just don't know where their goals are going to come. Like,
that's my point. Yeah.
Can Dan James kick on?
No.
Probably not. Can you rely on they're going to be so reliant on Patrick Bamford if he's fit for the whole season?
Yeah, but let's not forget. Avi said Frank Sinatra is the new Luis Diaz for them. So let's not forget.
Sinistra, Luis Sinistra.
He sounds like a wrestler.
Frank Sinatra is the new Luis Diaz.
I will talk about Leeds once you find out where they're finishing in my list.
All right. Speaking of, we will leave the misery of relegation.
Who just survives?
Yeah. And we'll go from I've done 17th to 13th.
Honestly, mad shout.
Grizz, you had Leeds in 13th. So
yeah, I look, as you can see, I've got Everton. Well, I've got Everton just surviving and Brentford. I mean, even though I didn't have Brentford going down, I just think they're going to just have enough. Only on the back of the defensive solidity, like sort of his midfield energy. He's got a lot of legs in midfield. I can't remember that guy's name, man. Very underrated in midfield, who covered the most distance, done the most tackles. Avi, Brentford midfield. But yeah, look, people are saying, wow, Leicester. I think this is the season where Brendan really, really struggles. Relying on Vardy again for the goals. How old is he now? 40 odd.
94.
Yeah.
Older than all of you guys. Bloody hell. Fofana,
the only centre-back that's good basically left there. You know, he's brought Vestergaard in as an awful signing. Evans, again, age.
But Grizz, sometimes they need They need one solid defender like a Fofana to bring out the best in Sionku, however you pronounce it.
Soyuncu.
And then you've got Vestergaard as well. Do you think that's why they missed Fofana last season?
I don't know.
The
man.
mix and match centre backs that were working for them, it wasn't working. Johnny
I don't
Evans,
know.
was it?
Well, they played Ndidi at the back.
Ndidi at the back.
And he done very well.
Amate, yeah.
Yeah, Soumare's gone. He came in for one season, was spoken highly of, thought highly of. He's gone. He's going back to Monaco apparently. James Justin, I rate highly, but injury ravaged season. Harvey Barnes, one of my favorite attackers outside the big boys. Like, again, the only shining light really. Tielemans going most likely. Madison possibly going as well, most likely going to be on the receiving end of a bit.
Who's going to buy Madison?
People buy him. Spurs are in for him, Errol.
Do you think? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I can see teams coming in for Madison last couple of weeks, man.
It's going to be a late window. There's not been any early rumours for it because Man U aren't in the window for it. Arsenal aren't in the window.
Both Tielemans and Madison are going into, I think their last two. Tielemans possibly into his last year. Someone tell me I'm wrong. But not signing a new contract. Only Harvey Barnes has signed a new contract. Who's the other player on the right they play? I don't know. I can't think of anyone, man. Guys, Perez, Brighton. They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything in the market, have they?
What's Dewsbury Hall? Is it Dewsbury Hall?
Rated.
I rate him.
Rated. Dewsbury Hall is rated. Absolutely.
He's young. No, he's young.
But I just think this is the season where they really fall, but not fall through the league. I just think they finish in the bottom half of the table. And I don't know who else I said. Who else did I say there? We've spoken about Leeds. Everton. Yeah. Everton's the one that I obviously they're different from. No, it's everyone. We've spoken about Brentford, Southampton, Leicester, and Leeds now. But Everton. What shall we say about Everton? Like,
I think Everton should be like because I've got them. They don't have a very good squad. Like on paper, they've lost Richarlison, who, whether you like him or not, he is a bit of a talisman for them. I don't really like. They just about survived.
They're literally shining light. Is that young fella,
Gordon?
Yeah,
Gordon.
They're shit. Yeah, but they know that last season, like whenever Everton get that close to relegation, they automatically go back to mid-table.
Oh, okay.
They recoup at mid-table.
You think they're going to turn into dogs of war again from the start?
Yeah, just from the start. It's like, let's not go back and because that was traumatic. And there's a lot of Everton fans with PTSD after last season. So they just want to focus on, let's just be mid-table. Let's not go above our pay grade. Let's not kind of stick our heads above the parapet in any sense of the word. Let's just do what's
go back to basics.
And just go back to basics. And it doesn't matter what squad. I think Frank is capable of doing that. I don't think you can expect and put the pressure on Frank to be like, we want you to push for the European places. I think now he saved them. He will get away with having 2 seasons mediocre, mid-table, no stress, no problems.
Hands down, one of the worst players around. I don't know
40
what.
million.
No.
There should actually be an investigation over that transfer, honestly.
I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. Someone told me if Obi's got talent. I said, no, man, I'm blocking you on all social media. I'm blocking you from my personal phone, my life, everything. I don't want you to speak to you about football ever again.
Errol makes a good point, though. If they can, under Frank Lampard, right? If he forgets about this, philosophy that he supposedly has, and he wants his team to play a certain way. If they go to the dogged Everton that people know, right? Stick it on Dominic Calvert-Lewin if he can stay fit. They're there or thereabouts hovering between 10th to 15th.
Yeah.
And for me, I think their fans will take that this season. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
Safe season with no stress and no pressure.
I think even 10th is a stretch, maybe between 13th to 15th.
Well, where did I have them? I think that's where I had them.
That's on 16th, just 16th, I think it was. Was it 16th?
Who's it? Yeah.
I said 13, 15 because I've got them 14th myself, and Errol's got them 13th.
I'm gonna be an unpopular boy at Grizz, but I rate this Iwobi guy. He's never gonna produce numbers.
Where from? Yeah, that's why. Yeah, get him out. Get him out. Absolute waffle, mate. Absolute waffle.
Chat shit, get banged.
Can you, if you're gonna back that up, right? If you're gonna back that up, right?
It was me.
He's 25. He's 20. How old is he now? 24, 25. What's his stats? Has he even assisted more than 5 times in the season? Has he scored more than 5 goals a season as a winger? No.
Well, let me explain. Hold on, I want to hear this out.
There can't be any explanation, Grizz.
I've been in this position with you many a time, right? Where you've done these ones. So I'm going to say the same thing that I used to say to you. Go ahead, Omar. Explain your thinking.
He's not like, I'm not saying he's JJ Okocha, right? I'm not saying he's amazing, but like if you see him play,
you're struggling to come up with words yourself. You're struggling to come up with words yourself. Grizz, that's what Grizz, listen, I came back, right? But I'm not coming back to this. I'm not coming back to listening to him.
Abby,
absolutely failing. You're failing to justify yourself over Iwobi. You're failing to justify it.
Do you want me to? It's the I can't back it up with stats, but if you watch him play for Everton, even times
now that Gray's better
at Arsenal, Daniel, I haven't had a haircut for a while.
Damari Gray, and Andros Townsend. All right,
they're not good. They're not good. But Iwobi, like, he gets onto the ball.
They're more effective.
I think Daniel Thomas has come in to just take the piss out of everyone. If you have, I'll boot you, you little cunt. So you're just you're just having a dig. So one more dig, you're just like, you're going to be taken off the.
What is his best attribute besides speed? He gets on the ball. He gets them moving. Like, if you watch Avi, I want you to look at Everton in their first game of the Premier League season and just look at Iwobi.
Oh, we can do a watch along if you want. We can do a watch along on Grizz Khan TV if you want to watch Everton.
We can. We can do it. We can do it here. We can do it on your channel. We can do it anywhere. I'll come to America if I have to sit down with you, and
we'll watch an Everton game together. No, that's done. Okay.
Watch, as painful as it is,
he won't even start. He won't even be in the squad. He won't even start. Come on, Alex Iwobi, come on, Omer. No, I'm not having that. I'm sorry. Damari Gray. If you had said Damari Gray, I would have said, you know what? On a free transfer, he was a really good signing for them. First 6 months of the season, he showed up. Even Townsend, right? They grafted, but to put Alex Iwobi and say that he's underrated, or you even failing to justify.
He's not a front three player though. He's a midfielder. I think
we're wasting too much time.
Yeah. I'm not spending. I didn't sign up for this, Grizz.
Yeah, everyone judges Iwobi as a player that needs to like be in the final third all the time. He at Everton when he played his best football, he was in that midfield sort of three, and the expectation wasn't on him to produce the numbers near the goal. But
I'm giving up.
Why am I defending an Everton? You made me defend an Everton player, man. Let's move on. This is my show. Abby, why pick Crystal Palace 15th?
All right, listen. I just want to like look. This, Grizz told me I need a top 20 now. All right, so there I am. Last evening, I'm looking at teams, right, and I know Palace have brought well. Vieira's done a great job. Don't get me wrong. Last season they were brilliant, and Eze's coming back from injury. Right, he will be fit again. Olise, who I highly rate. Zaha. I think their forward line's okay. They got hard workers, not great goal scorers. I think Matata's okay. Benteke, I'm not sure if he's still there.
Matata.
What's his name? It is, isn't it? Matata. What's his name?
Okay, Matata, Tomato, same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Matata.
Right. They brought Kouate as well from France, who's highly rated, a defensive midfielder in as well. Look, that list. Can you go back to my list, Omer? Because you keep skipping and I keep forgetting now.
Yeah, all right.
So from 13th to 17th, well, maybe from 13th to 16th, it's anyone's game in that order. I think Palace could finish 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. I think 13th to 16th will be very close. Everton, quick one. Yeah, let's skip that. We've already spoken. I think Frankie, if he puts some like if he gets that dogged Everton team, I know they've got James Tarkowski. I think that's a clever signing, but I think that's the only signing they've made. Wolves, again, steady Eddie season for them. I do like Bruno Lage, but I don't think they've brought a forward in. I think they lack a forward. Neto, I don't think will be the same ever again from the last from 18 months ago. I think his knee is really giving him bad issues. And Brentford, Thomas Frank, I do rate him. I do rate the club, the structure, the model. I think they'll struggle a little bit, but I think 16th, I think they'll be safe again.
Thank you. Before we get on to Errol's, a man that I want to listen to right now. Grizz, if this happens, do I get a month of shows?
Yeah, easy. Wherever you want.
Listen,
no. Hold on. You take over the channel. No. I'm a man of my word. I mean, that's how ludicrous.
Okay, yeah.
The thought of this is.
How are you going to put your
Yeah,
channel
but
on the line like that?
you mean a player of the month overall, not Everton's player of the month, yeah?
Yeah.
Player of the month overall.
Yeah, come on. No, it's never gonna happen. Let's skip. Come on. Let's go
All right.
to Errol's list.
All right, Errol. The two takeaways I want from here
Oh
really
shit!
are
Brighton.
Brighton in 15th.
Brighton, yeah.
And then I guess like I don't. Have we
Bournemouth
really gone into your
14?
Bournemouth shout?
It's Solanke, isn't it?
Do you know what it was? I didn't really. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really overly think too deep into Bournemouth. I don't know if that was one of the ones on the list that I had moved around once or twice, Grizz. But I just, in the end, I felt like one of the teams, or like there's two teams there really that came up this season would actually stay up, and I just picked Bournemouth to go above Notts Forest. I just think because they in more recent times I've seen more of them. And that's literally all I'm going off. I don't watch much Championship football, so I'm not going to try and wax lyrical to say I know how they play the style. I know they've got a couple of ex-Liverpool players in the mix, but in terms of Brighton, it was a case of they're probably going to lose that. Is it Kukurea, the left back?
Yep.
Probably losing.
Basuma.
Yeah, and then they've lost Basuma to Spurs, and I think my logic behind that was the same logic that I think Avi that had the logic for Southampton, or was it you guys that said that they're probably just going to start to fall down? It's not going to completely fall out, but they'll start to fall down a little bit in terms of this season. I think that'll be Brighton. They've probably had as good a couple of seasons as they was going to get, and this will be the season that really tests their resolve. I don't think they're going to be in any real danger, but I think it'll be a little bit nervy for them because they probably won't get the run of games that they need to really push to mid-table, and they'll just hover above that relegation zone for a couple of months.
And no, I don't, because Grizz and Avi, you've got them in your top 12. I think with
massive fan.
I think yeah,
I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan of them as well, guys. I just think when you lose again, I'm basing it off the outgoings and the teams really, and I think from that perspective, if you're not in a position where you can replace the quality of a Basuma or that Kukurea,
I hear that.
And they add the elements to how you kind of play and that what you've kind of built around them. I think when you lose that, I think the team's always then at risk of, if we stick to the same model, do we get piped? And then have we got enough about us to be able to revert to a model that will keep us safe? So I think they do have enough about them to revert, but they will have to take a few pipings in the first couple of months before they realize.
I'll tell you what, though. This is the season that Graham Potter either gets his flowers that he deserves, if he has another season like that, because you're right, so many people are writing him off because of the Basuma, because of the Cucurella, Dan Burns. Let's not forget Dan Burns, Ben White. My God,
who's the guy that is it Trossard? It's not Trossard plays for Brighton as well, and then you got the other Dotty Mapeo, whatever his name is. Like they've got, like, for me, Graham Potter's one of them managers that, like, he will still want them to perform, but when you take the likes of a Basuma out, how long before they realize that they aren't going to win all the midfield battles week in, week out anymore?
Guys, am I doing this wrong? One second.
What?
No, Grizz, how are you buying ice cream? Like, what is that wrong?
Are you biting into an ice cream?
It's a feast, isn't it? How else are you supposed to eat it?
Lick it first, innit? From the outside and in.
No. You. I mean, like, if it
depends how you eat a feast.
Like the crunchy bit,
of course,
like you sort of bite into that, but like the actual ice cream, you don't like bite into ice cream.
So how are you supposed to take so you just bite the outer crispy part?
Like you just like, oh man,
do that again.
Oh, he's got him, bro.
Wait. I don't know, Abby. How do you eat your feast?
I've not had a feast for years. I like Fab though. Just a little lick out the outside and then start biting into the inside.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I don't want to say anything right now. I'm just
not got sensitive teeth. That's for all the people with sensitive teeth in the chat.
There's plenty of people with me. That's all. I don't know. Like, what am I doing wrong? Everyone is like petrified.
Yeah, but do you bite into the like actual like cream, like the whole thing?
Sometimes, if the like, it depends on my like. If it, you know what, I don't think it's a travesty if I do. But anyway,
chat. I'm not going to show you anything. Let's just move on to why we're here. the interesting half of the table. Well, equally, like 12th to 8th. Who cares? I'm damn right. I guess we got to go back to Mr. Ice Cream, Grizz. Just talk us through because we're seeing a lot of new teams now. I think you guys have sort of
You man rate Brighton, innit?
yeah.
No, I rate Potter. I'm a massive Potter fan.
Just
What's your favorite film?
just
no,
on
no, just on me, innit? Just on
Go
me.
on.
Yeah, just on me. It's my turn.
Carry
So
on.
we've spoken about Brighton, Wolves, Palace. Yeah, need say no more. I genuinely think Wolves. I could have got carried away a bit with Wolves to say that they're going to be that high. That's the only one I'm a bit doubtful about. But again, top coach, as Avi said, a really massive fan of Bruno Lage. He proved it last season, man. You know, he's a good technical coach. And I believe in technical coaches in this Premier League. The days of Allardyce and that Sean Dyche and etc. have long gone. You know, it's all about the technical coaches. And if you look through the teams at the top, all teams are technical coaches. Aston Villa, Stevie G, I think if you ask them, they'd be happy with a top 10 finish this season. I think Stevie G has brought in, you know, I know Avi's a fan of that Boubacar Kamara, not a fan. I know they've brought in the centre-back from Seville, Diego Carlos, not a fan. I think he's an absolute car crash of a centre-back along with Tyrone Mings. That's not something I'm looking forward to seeing.
They've also confirmed the permanent signing of Robin Olsen, who was the goalkeeper on loan.
Again, that goal he let in against City was horrendous. I'm not a goal fan. Absolute horrendous keeper. It went in slow motion. So I'm not a fan of none of their recruits at the moment. They may surprise us near the end. Again, Watkins, relying on Watkins. I'm not a massive fan of Watkins. Phil Coutinho, early hype, done a few bits and bobs, nearly won us the league. I would have had different thoughts if he won us the league, but he didn't. So fuck him too. It's one of those ones. I think 9th's a bit about right. 8th, West Ham is the one where I think they'll finally drop out of the top 6, 7. I think they're tired, man. I know they've brought in a couple of players recently, so I may change my mind. I know they're in talks with Jesse Lingard again, but I think they may just drop out only because of the improvement in the other teams that obviously I'm going to show in my top 7. But yeah, I think Wolves might overestimated. Palace will be solid. Top 12, mid-table. That's roughly about where they are.
When you look at Wolves, I don't know how you boys feel, but when I look at Wolves, they right now they don't concede many goals, they don't score many goals, but they'll always sort of pull out results. And I can't see that changing. So I think like a mid-table finish is probably right. And then you have to factor in Jimenez is now it's his second season back. Before his injury, he was one of the
He's
biggest.
32 as well, though now, Omer. He is 32 now as well, you know.
I still think that's young enough. I still think he's got a couple, 2-3 years. Neto as well. Neto, I know he got injured against us last game of the season, and he was sort of injured for the whole of the last season. But I don't know what his status now is with injury. But he was like, we were linked with him, and like a lot of people wanted him. I wanted him. So we'll see. It's just a team that it's a tricky place to go, and you're not going to beat them 4-5-0. And they'll just sneak their results in.
Shout out Kilman, who for me is one of the best young centre backs outside the top 6 or whatever. I think he's a fantastic centre back.
Yeah, no, agreed.
And I've got Nouri in my fantasy league team as well, so you can't go wrong.
He did a job on Salah. Do you remember? Avi, talk us. So you've got West Ham in 12th. That's quite.
I just don't think they've recruited well. I know they've got Nayem Agoud from France for 30 million. Hardly ever seen him play. I know Flynn Downs is highly thought of at Swansea. He's moved to West Ham. I still think they lack something in that team.
Yeah, but they're about to secure
Armando Borja, my fellow mate from Slough. Again, Grizz, I don't think he's got 15, 20 goals in him. I think they lack a striker. Antonio, if he stays fit, is a threat. I think Mark Noble is a big, big miss for them in terms of leadership, in terms of being Mr. West Ham. I think they need a new Mr. West Ham, basically a player that comes through the ranks, and they used to be so great at that too with the youth system. Losing Sonny Perkins, who's going to be a revelation. He's gone to Leeds. Great youngster who's been highly thought of.
Avi, these people, Perkins,
Sonny Perkins, yeah.
Sally Perkins, and Mark Noble. Like, are you seriously saying they're going to be?
No, it's the leadership around. No, it's the leadership around the club. Grizz. Okay, Mark Noble, he's been a servant. You know, he knows the game. You know, he was a leader. He might have not played as much last season, but he's a leader. You know, off the pitch as well. No, but he's a leader off the pitch. You know, he represents West Ham. I think that's a. I think 12th for West Ham. I know last season they had a good season. I think 12th is another look. It's okay for them. I think they won't sack Moyes over 12th place. Leicester. It's Brendan's third year, isn't it now? Leicester. Usually he walks or he gets, he goes off to another job.
You got him 11th. That's quite high.
No, I can't. Yeah, but for Leicester City, for the players that they have at their disposal, I think they should be higher. But I think Brendan factor, I think he could walk, or he might get the chop. Leeds, obviously it is favoritism there in 10th place, but I also think to watch out for, I'm looking forward to watching Brandon Aronson week in and week out for Leeds. I think he'll be a pivotal player for Leeds. Then we've got Newcastle. You've taken my list away now while I'm going through it. What's going on with you? Brighton 9th. I know people go on about Basuma, who's a big miss, but if you remember, they brought a player who we were in for, Kasper Kowalowski. He's been on loan, so he's back this season for Brighton. Alongside Jakub Moder, another good midfielder. They got that Gary McAllister character, Alexis, and they've got also another young forward coming through, Jeremy Sarmiento, who's a good player, and he will get some game time this season as well. And I think 9th is another represents a great season for Graham Potter. And then Newcastle, 8th place. I think their owners are not buying for the sake of buying, like City did when they first got taken over. I think they're trying to buy strategically. I think Eddie Howe's a really good coach. I think they've got some good players. They need that forward line to be fit, don't they? I'm not talking about Chris Wood, Callum Wilson to stay fit, Bruno Gomes, Maximin. I'm not sure what the situation is with him, but if they can get going again, if Eddie Howe can get them playing, I think 8th is achievable for Newcastle.
Yeah, I think Leicester. You know what's funny? The highest you guys have Leicester as 10th. This time last year, like they were in top 4 conversations, like very regularly. So I think we've seen it with Brendan Rodgers, like firsthand, the way that he gets a team excited and then he doesn't sustain that. Which kind of it's kind of, apart from what he did at Chelsea, it's kind of becoming quite repetitive theme. So
the cycle
it is, and it sort of feels like he's coming into his 15-16 Liverpool season now, where he's got still like great players like Tielemans and Didi, Barnes, Maddison, so many, but like they should be doing better than they are. But I also think it's testament to like the strength of the league now. I think this is like every season the Premier League just gets stronger and stronger. So look, it could go like some of these teams, like you guys could just be completely wrong because it's the Premier League and we don't really know. But Errol, we haven't really touched on Palace much. I'm surprised nobody's got Palace in the top 10 the way they sort of played last season, and sort of now they've got Vieira and everyone settled in.
I just think they're a mid-table. Them, Aston Villa for me, and Leicester now have been kind of pushed towards that middle of the road. They don't have enough. I don't think they've got enough quality to sustain pushing on for any European spots, but they are still too good to really fall off the edge of a cliff and end up in a relegation battle. I think the likes of Crystal Palace have got some good players, but it's about assembling them all and having them to stay fit. I know that Eze's on his way back in. I know Zaha's pretty much tied down to them for a while now as well. But I just think they are always their biggest outlets and threats. I sometimes fear when that happens, the likes of Zaha, does it become, how long is it before your patterns of play become predictable and everybody's got your number, and then all of a sudden you're null and void and you're no longer as a dangerous asset? Do you need another challenge? Do you need to go overseas? Do you need to go to like a Roma or somewhere else in Spain where players aren't as savvy about the way that you kind of move with the ball and how dangerous of a threat you can be? I think he might just go a little bit stale this season for them. They haven't got a great deal up top, really. I know that the chat was going mad for Hakuna Matata before. But aside from him, there's not much else. And I don't think defensively they're great, which is why I think the teams that I've put above them, the likes of Villa and Crystal Palace, can on their day all hold better defensive records. I think Leicester will end up in that place. I think everybody's identified that with Brendan Rodgers. I think his time is up, but I don't see the slump being much more than 10th. They fought really hard over the last 2 seasons. I think they just got burnout and fatigue now. Those players, a lot of them that kind of got them to the cusp of Champions League football, have got complete burnout, and it's so hard to generate them to go again and motivate them to kind of sustain those levels. Like the thing that sustains, and I know Leicester and Liverpool are worlds apart at the minute, but the thing that sustains us is how close we go and the achievements we achieve along the way, and what else we can kind of pick up en route. Those have been the things. Oh, we missed out on the Premier League, but we won the Champions League. Oh, we missed out on the Champions League, but we won the Premier League. All those little things, even though it's fine margins, there's still enough motivation to keep going, to sustain the level you've kind of attained. Whereas when Leicester missed out on Champions League, they dropped into Europa, but couldn't actually put anything together. They dropped into the Conference League, couldn't put anything together. So they've not really held on to the standard that they then dropped down to. So I just think they will now plateau for a season. And it might be the season that we see Brendan go, because another season of mediocrity from the board's perspective might be enough for them to think we could, with the players that we've got, with our plan for like a long-term plan in place, we could probably do a little bit better than just being mid-table. And I think from a Leicester fan's perspective, that's probably where their ambitions are, given the last couple of seasons. The reason I've put Wolves where I have is because I think defensively, they're probably the best out of all of those teams there from 8 to 12. I think most people would agree with that. They just need to manufacture and tweak their attack lineup. If they can get that Prudent working well, if they can get Jimenez on form, if they have the ability to get their players fit and bring somebody else in. We've got a Cornetto in there as well now.
He couldn't help it. He couldn't help it.
It is hot, man. It is hot. It's hot out here. So yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, I think if they can get a striker, they're the most equipped to do well this season in that bracket of teams. And Adama Traore is back. I think they're trying to sell him to Everton. No, Everton are meant to try and get him for like 15 mil or something. I seen the other day. So I don't know. He's good and he's powerful. He's present, but he's not end product, is he? I think it's safe to say that.
It's so hard because you just look at him and you're like, wow, you've got all the potential in the world. Why aren't you producing the stats? Like, he can't score a goal. Like, he's quicker than and stronger than pretty much every player in the league.
That was the weirdest transfer of this summer. Adama Traore, in January. Adama to Barca. I just don't understand the dynamics of that.
It was broke. Honestly, he was skint. So
he didn't even get a game. I think he played like twice, and Xavi said, "Nah, bin him."
Yeah, he played with Aubameyang, set him up one time, and then that was it. He's done his job done.
Yeah, we'll be bringing out the Soleros. Yeah, we should maybe have like an ice cream review show with Grizz.
You can do that show. You know the show that you can do a fucking ice cream review show. Can you not please can you involve? If Obi gets player of the month, you can have your own fucking ice cream review show. How's that?
Ice cream tier list. I'll be there. Like,
what funny bags have you smoked before the show? Honestly, Iobi to be player of the month. Come on.
What do you mean?
Swiftly moving on. Come on.
I never said that. You're putting words into my mouth. Also, who said it earlier? Yeah, a dread. I'm not dreading this comment though. Like ratio is terrible. Step up, folks. Yeah, guys, step up. We need them. We need the likes up because I think we're on 200. Like this program show, and Iwobi will win a player of the month, and I'll have the channel.
Someone made a comment earlier on when we were talking about Iwobi, and they said there's a more able or more realistic that would be man of the match award. Yeah, if he has even a one man of the match award.
And Paddy over here is asking for him to be player of the month all of a sudden. Beefcoof. Honestly,
Bevkuf means
silly. Come on,
silly man.
You can say you can say it to you can speak like you say it to my face, man. Like I don't want you to speak. I don't want you speaking like your own dialect with each other, talking behind my back. Where's the decorum?
I'll deal with you later on private WhatsApp. Go on. Let's move on.
Yeah, we'll get onto the business end. The Europa spots, as I call them. Wow. That's United fans, you can hold that. Because you're not in the top four, clearly. Grizz, you've got.
Oh, all right, we'll get to it. Because by that, no. Oh, I was just saying, almost by that metric, everyone had one particular team in the top four, but they don't. Abby fucked it up.
Yep.
Sorry, guys.
Well, at least it has a bit of discussion because I've seen you guys top four.
Look, people need to remember, and I'm always one to remind people of context and timing. It's everything, right? We're talking when the transfer window isn't complete. We're talking as of now. We know Newcastle can go out and flex anytime they feel like it. We know Frankie de Jong, as of today, isn't a Man United player. We don't know what the situation of Cristiano Ronaldo is. And we know as of now, Chelsea have only bought in Koulibaly and Sterling. So, look, these could change. All right, I'm open to ridicule if they do. Okay? But as of today, I generally think we'll see the biggest improvement from Newcastle. I don't think they'll quite get into the top 6 straight away this season, but I think they'll be on the verge of it, if not testing the likes of United, who will drop, in my opinion. Now, I know they've started off fantastically in pre-season. They've managed to win the Singapore Cup, was it Centenary Cup? Or the Malaysia, Thailand, whatever.
Like a
whatever.
birthday cake, wasn't it? As an award.
Yeah, that birthday cake. Yeah, the birthday cake trophy. And by all means, be happy, be excited, be pumped. But I wouldn't expect them to even beat Brighton at home on the first day. When shit comes to the serious stuff, when it gets to the serious stuff. So, look, they could turn it around with a couple of signings. If they get rid of Ronaldo and bring in a serious striker, or obviously Martial's doing well, pick up a couple of midfielders, I may change, I may evaluate. Chelsea will drop off. I don't think they'll dramatically drop off, but just enough to come out of the top 4.
Do you not think Koulibaly, Sterling?
I've spoken about it. I just don't think they've got a striker to hit goals. They need a goal scorer. 20 to 25 goals minimum. That's what Lukaku was brought in to do. And they've got rid of him now. So, yeah, man, it is what it is, man. That's how I'm seeing these things right now. I'm not going to lie.
Avi, you're the only one without Arsenal in the top 4.
Yeah.
Why?
And,
because they're shopping in Portugal, which tends to be your favorite league.
Yeah, they are. Jesus, goodbye. I think he is a good boy. I know Arsenal fans are saying that he's going to get 20 plus this season. He won't get 20 plus. You can clip this if he does.
There's a lot getting clipped.
I just think with Arteta, he just falls short. He will fall short again. It's a very young team. You forget that Arsenal team it's a very young team. Zinchenko's a good buy. I really do think that he's a good buy. I think Fabio Vieira is going to be a delightful player for them. I think he'll be a little bit inconsistent first season, but he's a player that will come good maybe in the second year, third year, fourth year. I think first season he'll have to figure it out a little bit, but I think technically he's a brilliant player. Zinchenko's good. And then obviously Jesus, I think they need a little bit more. If they had got a Rafinha, yeah, I think they could have been pushing top 4. He for me is on that cusp of that taking that game to that next level. Villa, it's a big test for Steven Gerrard. He's had these sort of bedding in season. He's seen what the team's about. He's seen the squad. He does need some performers from last season to perform. The likes of Ollie Watkins a bit more regular in terms of goals. In terms of Danny Ings, needs a good goal return from him. He needs Leon Bailey to actually stay fit because he's a menace when he wants to be. Jacob Ramsey, another good season from him. Upcoming, I rate him very, very highly. Obviously, you've got Douglas Luiz, you've got Boubacar Kamara, who I rate highly. I know Grizz doesn't. Then they've got like the centre backs. Diego Carlos, he's been in and around that Seville team. Always was itching for a big move, but he's gone to Villa. He's 28, 29. Carney Chimekawika, I think he will leave this summer. I think this season is a big test for Gerrard. I think if he gets 7th, I think it'll be a great achievement for him and a good cup run. And United in 5th, I do rate Ten Hag. He's a disciple of Pep Guardiola at Bayern Munich. I think they're buying well. Lisandro Martinez is a very astute signing. Originally a centre midfielder, will play probably centre back, but can cover left back. Who's the other kid they bought from PSV?
Malacia.
Tyrell Malacia. Jury's out on him. And then Ericsson, I think it's a shoot buy again with Ericsson. I think he's a good player. He's got the industry. He's very durable. I think he's a good player who can fit in the United system. They do need to get rid of Ronaldo. Pogba's gone, so mission 1 is complete. But they've got like 3 more things to do at that club. And again, Ten Hag needs to be relying on the likes of Sancho and Rashford this season to actually step up. And I think one thing that Ten Hag has on his side, as previously shown at Ajax, he's really good with the youngsters and he will let them play. He will let them have an identity. So, yeah, no, I think 5th, is a good, steady season for United.
I think
another cup run.
Yeah. As much as I hate to say it, he's probably the perfect manager for like the likes of Rashford, Sancho, Martial. That he just gets them playing with freedom, and like from what we've seen I know it's pre-season, and I know Man United fans are now claiming that they're the best team in the world again. But like you can see that he's got them alive in a way, which is annoying to see. I still think. For me, I don't know, that 4th, I think there's 3 teams that should be nailed on for top 4. And then that 4th spot could go to any of the other 3. But
I'd accept that. I
think I'll move on to Errol, because I think I'm very much in his sort of camp, like to be honest with his table. But the West Ham, I think West Ham still they need maybe another central midfielder just to bolster that sort of area. Being in the Conference League, and it looks like they're getting Broha, so they've got the goals. And if they share the goals around between him, Antonio, Bowen, you've got Declan Rice coming on another level. You've still got the creatives in like Lanzini, Benrahma. Their defense is solid. They've got enough numbers there. I think they're in for a good season, Errol.
Yeah, what I said about Leicester, it's almost the opposite of West Ham. Leicester have had that fatigue now, and I feel like they'll plateau, where I think West Ham have got that added incentive to go again. That hurt of missing out on Europa places hopefully pushes them on, and I think they've got enough of a squad in terms of Moyes. As much as he got mugged off by Man U, he's no mug in the Premier League. He's got good Premier League pedigree. I think, even the most hardened of Liverpool fans will accept that now. Do you know what I mean? He can't do as much damage. So I think they'll cause a few upsets. They do tend to turn up for the big games. Some of them, the games that they can cause upsets in. I know they can cause upsets against Man U. They've done it against us.
They've got City first day.
Yeah, they've caused City problems in the past as well. So I do believe that they will be on for a good season. And I think you're right there, Ooms, in terms of what you said about Chelsea, Man U, Arsenal. They will be fighting for potentially that 4th place spot, those 3 teams. And it could be a bit of a shootout. But I just think in terms of the likes of Man U and Chelsea, I think Chelsea is still going to be in a transitional period, even though they've got a new owner with the means to bring in new players. I think there's still a few cogs missing from Chelsea to be singing and all dancing. And the fact that they're playing Champions League football, I said it last season, Chelsea are the most equipped team to play cup competitions. They've got the squad for it, because on any given day they can turn up and they can put a worldy performance in and do over anybody. I don't think the same can be said for Man U. I think Man U will probably struggle doing the Thursday, Sunday, and that rotation. And I think Ten Hag, the way he set up against Liverpool in the preseason, if that's anything to go off, I don't think he will underestimate the power of the Europa League and what possibly winning that trophy and getting into the Champions League through the back door could actually do for his own individual legacy as part of that new chapter for Man U. So I think he will take that seriously. I don't think he will get a stripped down squad to play Europa games and he just has a Premier League team. I think it will be a hybrid of the two, which means his resources will be stretched throughout the season and he will have an eye on both things right until the end of the season, really, and they will be in with the shout. But I think all in all, they would happily drop down to 6th if it meant that they was in a Europa League final where they could potentially get into the Champions League through the back door.
Yeah, man, I think you're spot on. I think when it comes to that sort of March, April, where like last 8, last 4 of the Europa League, all of a sudden, like teams, we've seen it pretty much every year. A team's priority goes to that tournament because you're like, we could be scrapping for 4th spot, but screw it, we're probably the best team in the Europa League. Let's put all our eggs in that basket, and I think they're probably suited to be they sort of have that sort of Solskjaer like cup team feel to them, where they're exciting, but they're not going to be solid enough to maybe put in the performances 3 times a week.
Can I ask the guys, all of you guys, your opinion on their attack? Now, Man U. So from so far, the reports suggest that it's like Rashford, Sancho, and Martial really kicked on and like a new lease of life. They're playing without freedom. I just wanted your thoughts, guys. Like, what do you think? Because I've been critical of Martial ever since he joined 8 seasons ago, right? And it's his 8th season, and people are still. So maybe no, because obviously people start saying, "Oh, Grizz is just a hater." So maybe because I didn't rate him from the start, maybe I'm one of those being stubborn and not seeing the improvement or what I'm seeing. So what do you guys think?
I feel betrayed because I rated this guy and I was gutted when he went to Man U 8 years ago. I wanted us to sign him. To get me? I was genuinely wounded, and those early couple of seasons he showed promise. But then after that, when he kind of just fell off a cliff, I was kind of glad because it showed his mentality and his attitude. And for me, it's a case of you were supposed to be the Mbappe before Mbappe. You were supposed to be that guy. You were supposed to be Thierry Henry Mark II, and you've never lived up to the hype. Now, whether that's the pressure, you can't even get into the French team sometimes. Like whether it's the pressure, whether it's the fitness, whether it's your attitude, your application, whatever it is, there's more question marks over you than actual answers in terms of what your actual ability is and your level in world football. You can't say he's a world-class player. You can't say he's top 5 forwards in left forward or number 9. You can't actually pin him down to any of these type of metrics or measurements in world football right now because he just simply doesn't do it enough. So for me, he's been a disappointment. Does he have talent? Yes. Will Man U fans ever see the best of that talent? I highly doubt it. Will Ten Hag make him better than he has been in recent years? Yeah, but that shouldn't really take much considering how poor his performances have been, is my general take.
He didn't do anything at Seville either. He had like 15 games, scored 1 goal. And he has this lackadaisical approach, it seems. You know, that body language. I mean, Torres had it. Fernando Torres had it at Liverpool. He just seemed always sort of like calm or like he didn't seem aggressive enough, but he's obviously scored goals. Martial, he has that style where if he can be bothered, he will try. If he doesn't, then...
But surely that changes now, Avi. Surely that changes now. Fresh start, new manager.
But then we're going back to like Mourinho, Van Gaal as well. He had them as managers as well. If they couldn't get the best out of him, what makes us think that Ten Hag all of a sudden will come in and change the way he adapts his approach and makes him play again? He's had Solskjaer. He's had stints. He's had stints of goal scoring, and do you think here we go now at 26? Go on, push on, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He can clearly get 20 plus goals a season for United, he wants to only play as a 9. You know, he doesn't want to rotate on the right and left. Whereas Rashford can play off the left, Sancho can play off the right. You know, I don't think there's much flexibility in his game.
You've got to make him your guy. Yeah. If you make him your guy, he'll want to turn up to work every day. But if you tell him you're part of a system and a forward line, and one day you'll pop up on the left, the next day you'll pop up down the middle, then the next day
they've got that issue with Ronaldo. So if we're saying they're going to get rid of Ronaldo or Ronaldo wants to leave, which doesn't look likely now as well because nobody wants him, so he's forced to stay there. Hey,
even on loan, no.
Yeah, so exactly. So let's just assume, as we are speaking now, Ronaldo's still there. he's going to come and fuck up all these good vibes that they're feeling right now. And they're attacking fluidity, and Sancho looks like a new player because he's one of those players that asks for the ball whatever angle.
But Grizz, Ten Hag won't, if he doesn't fit
Yeah,
Ten Hag's philosophy,
yep,
he will make that call. He's big enough and bold enough to make that call and say no. And he will say it to Russell Arnold at United, the chief executive. He will say no. He's not coming in my team. He's not ruining what I've planned for in pre-season.
I think
and
it's too late. They haven't decided that. It's 2 weeks before the season. They still haven't decided that if Ronaldo is they may have decided, we don't know. But the way they're playing without Ronaldo suggests to me Ronaldo himself might feel a bit like, do you get what I mean? He might feel like,
I don't fit in.
I think you'll realize that by seeing them in pre-season. I'm not here. It's not for me.
I think Ronaldo will be pissed off because if you see the movement that these men are whipping out now, Ronaldo, where the fuck was that movement last season?
Yeah, but he was part of the problem, Errol.
I'm not saying he wasn't part of the problem, though, Grizz, but him being there, he was a willing body last season when a lot of people switched off. His ego wouldn't allow him to switch off that first season back, which I get. But now if you're going to sit there and come back and you're watching there or watching the preseason thinking, why are all these men now running? It's like they're just arse licking for the new manager to try and get into his good favour. Second I rock up, all the movement will stop and they'll make me look like I'm the problem again, which then isolates me and moves me further away from being in the team, which then I start to get my ego back into it and cause a rift. So it's like a negative, it's like they're stuck in their own little kind of echo chamber of pure negativity because one negative action will cause a negative reaction and it just goes ongoing and ongoing.
I'm looking forward, sorry, just to comment quickly. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with Bruno Fernandes. I'm looking forward to what Ten Hag does with him.
In what way?
He can bring the consistency, his passing, make him more disciplined, make him more tactical. I think that's one thing that Bruno Fernandes last season lacked, like that tactical, like acumen. Like, don't take a shot from 30-foot yards. Look around you. Look what's around you before you start playing these through balls. Because his possession, the amount of times that he lost possession needlessly, it was embarrassing. And last season's his stats proved it too. I think it'll be interesting to see how he incorporates Eriksen and Fernandes in the team, and whether he'll play both as well.
I think they'll be interchangeable. I don't think Eriksen. I don't think you can expect them both to play every single game this season. I think you still need your dogs in that midfield. So the likes of your Freds, your McTominays, your Donny van der Beek will be a new lease of life there. But on the Ronaldo point, I think when you have Ronaldo in your team naturally just plays around Ronaldo. It plays to Ronaldo. Whereas, like Grizz said, like they've got such good vibes with that fluidity in their front three. We know how a Ten Hag team plays. We saw his Ajax teams. They played exciting, quick, fluid football. So Ronaldo, I think, look, if you have Ronaldo in your squad, you still got someone that can score goals. Like, there's no doubt in that. He will score goals. But if I'm Ten Hag, you've got to be brave enough to stick to your guns and say, right, Ronaldo, if the way I want to play, no disrespect to you, you're one of the greatest players of all time, but you don't fit the style. It's like sometimes the team, the style takes priority, and no matter who you are. So, like, if it was a prime Ronaldo who had that sort of movement, yeah, of course, he gets into your team. I think if I was to be Ten Hag, Ronaldo would never accept this. But he's probably that guy you bring off the bench every game to just sort of get onto the end of things as things open up.
But that's it. He will never accept that, and that's where the problem starts.
So he has to go, but he has to go for his own good and for United's own good. So it makes no sense why, like, surely, like, Bayern Munich have just lost Lewandowski. Surely, but Bayern should be interested in him. Like, that's a team that would probably build around him. But
who, Cristiano?
Yeah.
No, not at 37, 38. Bayern don't need to. They don't. Nagelsmann has a totally different identity. There's no way he would take a chance, especially being at 34, take a chance on CR7. I think CR7, the best route for him is probably what people have said in the last few days, is going back to Sporting. Go and spend a year out in Portugal, 37, 38.
I said that. Thank you very much.
Fair play to you. I think that would be a great I think that'd be a great move for him. And he'll score, what, 40, 50 as well in that league.
Yeah.
You'll love
Are they
it. You'll love it. That's his ego. That's his boost. That's his pride. Sporting guy in the Champions League as well, have he?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. So
There you
it makes
go.
sense for him to go back there.
Yeah, I can't see him. I can't see him making a success of, I think he will just hinder. You're right. There's splits in the camp because of him, and the players are obviously playing much more freedom without him. But long may the uncertainty and toxicity continue.
Smash the like button, people. We're gonna get onto the top four because this is what matters, really. I know these guys' top fours. Guys, get your top fours in the chat. I want to see your top fours because they're probably better than these three guys. No, I'm kidding. I agree with all of theirs, to be honest. But we'll get into it. There we go. That is very symmetrical.
Oh shit!
It's not what Grizz told me last night about who was winning the league, but it's fine. Change last minute. Got it.
Last minute change. Look, I'm not gonna lie.
Why should you go first as well? Like every time, let Errol or myself go first.
Go on then.
Go on, Errol.
If Conte would have been with Spurs from last season, he would have comfortably walked into top four. That's my logic for why he will be top four. I think he's had a good. I think he's been backed by Daniel Levy. I think he's got enough of the players that he wants to do stuff with and to build on. Kane looks as if he's happy. He's not murmuring. He's not kind of edging for a move away from the club. Son, I still think he's a fantastic forward option for them as well. I think he's one of the best forwards in the league. Rate him very, very highly. And to be honest with you, Spurs always finish above Arsenal, but I think this will be the season that Arsenal finally break back into top four. The top four needs a little bit of fresh blood in there, and I think Arsenal will be the ones. City and Liverpool, it's a shootout. If I wasn't a Liverpool fan, could you win City? You could have argued it, but I'm a Liverpool fan. If I'm predicting who's going to win the league, I'm backing the Reds and Jurgen and his boys every day of the week. Sorry if the people in the chat don't like it, but you're watching on a Liverpool channel with a bunch of Liverpool fans. What was you expecting? So yeah, that's pretty much my rationale for it all. I don't think we'll walk away with it like we did when we won the Premier League. I think this will be the one where we actually go down to the wire with City, but it'll be in our hands, and I think we'll get the job done. But I do think Arsenal are the dark horse for that top four spot. And it's just purely because they need that little bit of fresh blood. They need that injection into the top four. And I think they need it now. If Arsenal don't, the whole thing falls out the back arse of it because it's all, excuse the pun, it's all
or nothing.
It's peak seasons for them right now, man. They have to. They've been etching for it for the last 3 seasons by hook, by crook, trying to get there. They have to get top four this season. There cannot be any feasible excuse why they don't, which means they are going to have to beat the likes of Chelsea and Man U in my prediction. But if they want to be considered competitive and considered a threat, they're going to have to get some scalps against the other top 6 teams. They are going to have to fight their way for top four, but they are the dark horse for it in my eyes.
Yeah. Before we go into it, Grizz, can I read this super chat? Sasko Alu. Damn, nice profile pic. My guy. I think if he's promoting him and his
he's in another man's room and have some respect here. Come on.
What do you mean?
Wait, hold on. He was talking about decorum earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Decorum. Come on. Let's apologize to Sasko Eliu. Maybe I should read out the super chat. Thanks for the super chat, Sasko. I think if Chelsea Football Club get Koundé and Kimpembe, that will be some ultimate footy stuff we've seen. We've never seen a defensive depth like that ever in football. Name it better. Well, I think our depth is way better, Sasko. Sorry to, what is the word? Sorry to rain on your parade, but yeah, I think the depth that we have at centre back. Yeah,
I think if they get Kimpembe and Koundé, that leaves them with Kimpembe, Koundé, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, and Chalobah.
Nothing to, yeah.
I think
a lot of people are hyping up the Koulibaly signing too.
Really?
I think there's a lot of flaws in his
I asked you the day, would you rather have Khanage or Koulibaly?
Oh, Khanage. A young Khanage at 22, come on. It's a
no-brainer,
really.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Anyway, apologies to Saska, but thank you for the super chat. That'll probably
What
be
do
the
you mean?
last one after your comments, Omer. So
I'm
let's go back.
literally
Let's go back to the
shouting him
table.
out.
Come
I'm
on, hey,
bigging
hey.
him up.
You're still learning. You're still an
literally bigging
apprentice.
him up.
You're
You
still an
guys
apprentice.
always changing the narrative. Like you saying this is the.
Can we go to
problem.
my
You guys
table,
are
please?
Changing
Thank
the
you.
narrative.
Can we go to my table, please?
Yeah, your dreadful opinion with Chelsea in the top 4.
So look, I think everyone agrees. I think Spurs, if they get off to a good start, I think up until Christmas, I think they'll be up there with the two that we are accustomed to now. So I think Conte, if they get to a good start, they'll be there or thereabouts Christmas time, and they'll probably tail off. Chelsea, I still think Tuchel has more than enough in that squad to get them top 4. I think Sterling's going to be a very good buy for them. They do need a goal scorer. Otherwise, they're forever relying on Werner to turn up. And then Mason Mount, Pulisic, they've got players there who can cause trouble. They have players, but look, Aspilicueta looks as if he's going again, another, Chelsea man for the last, 7-8 years, been a great servant.
Nearly 10 years.
10 years, yeah. So
now he's going to be missed.
Yeah,
not
Mark Noble,
West Ham.
Mark Noble and Sonny Perkins. Okay.
And
Look, it's going to come down to the front two, right? And I was going back and forth in my mind yesterday about City, Liverpool, but I honestly think, and I know Errol said he thinks it's going to go down to the wire. I can honestly see us winning the league comfortably.
Oh shit!
7 to 10 points. 7 to 10 points. I tell you why, right? 18-19 season, we came second by a point, right?
We need full screen for this shit.
We came back with vengeance, and I think this team they have that aggression. They have that. I don't know why you put me on.
I don't
solo, but that's fine. I honestly feel that they've got that drive, and they'll go again one more season. Well, a few more seasons, but under Klopp next season, I think they'll do damage. I really do think that we're primed again to actually go for it. I think the Champions League final hurt. I think the league hurt too, even though it was always in City's hands. They had to win. I think when they knew that it was 2-0 to Villa, I thought that this team, obviously, they knew the score. They must have thought, you know what, lads, we're winning the league today. And it didn't. So that's one hurt. The Champions League final, I don't want to talk too much about that. I think that would have hurt them again to Real Madrid. Ancelotti again. Salah should have been the one. And I honestly think with Darwin Núñez, we're going to see a different facet in our game, 100%. And he's going to bang. If you're going to put me on solo for this thing. Darwin Núñez will score 30 plus next season. He will go toe to toe with whatever Haaland does at City. Núñez will match and go some.
That's it. 30 plus.
Yeah. In all comps.
Yeah.
I don't think that's absurd. I actually don't think Avi's opinion is absurd as well.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Both of you.
He's my disciple. Oh my God,
yeah.
Apart from that last howler on the super chat, but yeah.
Now I'm on your style again. Yeah, I think the reasoning there by Avi is very good. I also think people always say, "Oh, Liverpool squad." Like, there's so much chat in the fan base saying, "Oh, like just look at our squad. It's not good." Mate, City have lost. If Zinchenko goes as well, there's talk about Bernardo. They've lost so many key players to that squad, and I know they brought in Haaland, but around that, I'm not convinced by their signings.
Fernandinho, just not winning a league, that mentality that Fernandinho had in that team, even though he was on the peripheral last season, it's just that mentality that you bring when you're in that team. Sterling, they're winners, they're losing winners. Zinchenko, in and around that squad, they're losing winners, title winning players. And to replace that with the likes of, Calvin Phillips, Julian Alvarez, who I think will be
you got to train that mentality.
Haaland, it is. You got to see whether they match it or not. It's one thing playing for City and fitting a Pep system. I get all that. And he will improve the players. But it's all up here, whether you can go toe-to-toe, knowing that Liverpool will be on your back week in, week out, day in, day out.
Yeah. I
think the biggest prize for City is the Champions League.
Yeah.
They will have one eye on that again this season, just as we will. But with City, it's different now. They've got to win it sooner or later on the path.
I don't think we will. But I'll get to my thinking in a minute.
I think City will finish third.
What?
Yeah.
So who? Who's second?
Spurs.
Oh.
I think, but I also, as a consequence of that, I do think they might be sort of not out of a title race by like Feb, March, but they're, like Abby said, their mind might start veering off to the Champions League, and that does worry me a bit. I think if they do give up on the league, I think they do go far. I think they do go far in the Champions League, like final far. I think the likes of Haaland, the way that team is sort of now transferring into a sort of, instead of your typical Guardiola possession-based team, they're so dynamic now with the likes of De Bruyne, Haaland. I mean, they've lost Jesus and Sterling, but I feel like they're slowly becoming more of a. They'd become more durable in a Champions League sort of.
But we're expecting. This is some fans out there, Liverpool fans included, are expecting. Oh, they're a bit nervous about Darwin, right? Nunes hitting it off straight off. We're automatically assuming that Alvarez, Haaland, Jack Grealish are going to hit it off. Jack Grealish needs a big season. Let's not forget about that. He needs a big season this season, right? Alvarez coming from South America. It's going to be a different ball game in the Premiership. Then you got Erling as well, Haaland. German tax, scored goals for fun in Austria, Germany. Listen, son, you're coming to the big boys league now. You're coming to the league that literally crippled your dad. You know what I mean? You're coming to the Premiership. So let's see what he does.
If you look at City's frontline depth last season, the likes of Sterling, Jesus, they sort of in key moments made a difference. Now you are relying on the likes of Grealish to literally turn up. Like the pressure on his shoulders now, he's like he can sit on the bench and come on when they're winning. Like he's going to be relied upon. Like you guys know, I rate him, but he might not. And Alvarez is coming from. I know he's done amazing stuff in South America, but he's so unproven, and he might become like the next Aguero. But there's more. I think there's more uncertainties about City. I think if Bernardo goes, damn, like. They need to get someone else in that midfield. I don't know if their business is finished. I know there's still sort of rumors about the likes of Neymar, but I don't know how like.
No way. No, he's definitely not coming under Pep.
In that is so.
Pep won't even entertain that.
We'll see, but Tottenham, Grizz. Like so, I've said I can see them.
Me, yeah.
Yeah, I can see them. So you've all got them in third. I could see them pushing for a title if everything works. Like if Conte, because we've seen it, if Conte gets a system going, it is so hard to beat.
I think the gap between Man City and Liverpool is going to be Man City, Liverpool, and the third place team is going to be far less. Let's just put it that way. I think Spurs will be very difficult to beat. I think Spurs have made some very astute acquisitions. Obviously, namely Richarlison, who I don't like, but you can imagine being a Conte player. Basuma for sure. Perisic, very astute signing.
But Grizz, again, legs on Perisic. He's what, 34, 35 now?
Sure, but he's not going to be
week in, week out.
He's not going to be asked to play every game. I just rate Conte very highly. I just think he's bought players for himself and for his team, whether it's short term, as Avi says, Perisic is old and legs. He knows how to win in the now. He knows how to make you successful now. He don't give a shit about your academy. He don't give a shit about what happens when he's left, just like Mourinho. And that's what makes him dangerous, in my opinion. I think Spurs will be absolutely up there. Arsenal, obviously, me and Errol have gone for Arsenal. It's a bit of a wild card, I admit.
Yeah.
But I think it's more hope than actually of really based on footballing logic. I can't prove it on a footballing logic point of view. But I've seen it on a steady increase, the journey Arteta's on. And I think the signings have been very astute. Again, Gabriel Jesus will score 20 plus. He absolutely will score 20 plus for them. And with Saliba coming back, along with Gabriel at the back, and then they brought Zinchenko, who I think will play as a left-sided 8, but can equally cover on the left-back position. I kind of hope they finish above Chelsea and Man United, if you get what I mean, because of my hatred for Chelsea and Man United. But that fourth place could be any one of Chelsea, Man United, or Arsenal. I've just gone for Arsenal for slight favoritism. Man City, Liverpool, guys, I was going to pick Man City, even though I'm a Liverpool fan and all that business. But, you got to give your opinions, what you think, not as opposed to what you think you should say on your channel for the sake of your channel, right? I'm not like that. So, and Avi knows that because I said to him last night, what changed I did. I told him what changed my mind. What I thought about long, hard, deep about was, I think this World Cup, you can bring it up. I think this World Cup and the fact that we have only a few players that are expected to be prominent members of nations that are expected to go far, I think that could be very, very vital, lads. Man City, on the last check, people in the chat obviously are going to let us know. People, can you let us know who is representing the nations in the World Cup for Man City? Because from what I remember, a lot of them are expected to go deep, like the likes of
Portuguese,
Argentina.
boys,
yeah,
Brazil,
yeah, and add to that, the lads that are not going for us: Luis Diaz, Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson. Konate probably gets selected for France, maybe, lads.
He'll get in.
Yeah.
Thiago maybe not going.
Thiago maybe not. I think there's enough key players there. Bobby on the peripheral, definitely not a starter.
I think Bobby will go though. Yeah, he probably won't get a game from them.
Yeah, he probably won't get a game. So I think roughly 16 players, Conroy says, for Man City.
All is right.
I think that will be key. Obviously, the most obvious comment, and Avi loves when I bring him up for obvious comments, so he might bring me up on this. But guys, we really need a good start. And what I mean by why I say that is because Man City, and I was speaking to Big Steve, shout out to Big Steve, obviously from the Big Six. Formerly of the Big Six, but he's still my mate, obviously. He's very worried and concerned about the start Man City make. A, the fact that they've only got 2 preseason friendlies lined up. That's a mad one. And B, a lot of their players are integrating into this system, a complex system that Pep Guardiola plays. He's not a straightforward coach. Guys, we know that, right? He's one of the most complex coaches ever, probably. And you're asking, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to let you lot educate me on Alvarez. I don't know much about Alvarez, but I think Alvarez is going to be the wild card, which tips it in for me in favor of City or Liverpool, because I don't know what kind of players. He could turn out to be another Ferran Torres, or he could turn out to be another Gabriel Jesus for them, who's significantly impactful, right? I know Ferran Torres done bits, but overall, he was no good. That's why he went back, or he was homesick, or whatever the reason was. I think that's the signing that tips it in Man City. Obviously, Calvin Phillips, a solid signing. He's not going to play much, but he improves them with Fernandinho. Haaland is guaranteed goals, but again, they're going to have to adapt the way they play. They play a midfielder playing in there. That's why they control so many games. Haaland won't be that kind of midfielder, link-up player. He wants the ball at the end of the cross, at the end of the run. I think it could be close again. I'm not anticipating like Avi 7-10 points. That's his opinion. I think it's going to be us two again. I think it's going to be tight. But I think the World Cup situation scenario, fresh Mohamed Salah, new contract. Come on.
And you lose Diaz. Yeah. We're going to see a different Diaz as well.
Yeah.
Diaz. Can I say something about Luis Diaz, guys? He does need to up it though. I think Luis Diaz started off like a house on fire, but understandably, I'm not slagging him.
He was shattered.
Understandably, he was absolutely shattered by the last month. How many games did he bloody play? He played
7 in the end.
Exactly. So I think he went through a lot of games, a lot of time spent playing and emotionally, the big move of his life. I think we need to see a fresh Luis Diaz. And Darwin Núñez, you guys know my thoughts. I think he will score. I think he will bang. I just think he's overpaid. We overpaid for him, but I can't give a shit. I can't give a shit if he was 20 million or 80 million. I don't care. We've got him. Obviously, Pep Linders and Klopp see something in him that I don't see that sufficed 85 million, but who gives a shit? I'm here chatting shit on a YouTube channel. They're the big dogs. They're the ones that count. So I'm going to trust them, and hopefully Darwin Núñez absolutely smashes the shit out of it. One slight disappointment is the Diogo Jota injury. I really, really, really
People
sad
sleep
about
on him.
that.
People sleep on him too.
I
23 goals
was
in
I
54
was
games.
sleeping. I absolutely, Avi. In fact, if everything went to plan, I think Bobby and Jota would have started ahead of Nunes.
Fulham
I
game.
genuinely think that it would have been Diaz, Jota, and Salah, or Diaz, Bobby, and Salah. I think Nunes would have eased in. But here's what it is. I just want to bring up the super chat as well, Omar, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Omer, I got a good little omen for you as well.
Raps are sending a super chat. Please. So we're going into the next season with the same midfield problem and on the right hand side and expect to win the league. Makes sense all of it. City win again. We runners up again. Look, we have a slight X factor in that midfield problem. I don't know which the problem first of all you're referring to. But if you're referring to sort of Henderson per se, I think Henderson will play at the base far more this season, and I think a certain Harvey Elliott who's been player of the preseason so far is doing a wonderful job at the moment. I agree. He's young, he's inexperienced, but I guarantee you, if he was at Dortmund and he was available for 25-30 million pound, we'd be all over him like a rash.
Just a quick one as well, Grizz. The 5-sub rule as well.
Ah,
It's gonna work in our favor, City's favor, but it's gonna be brilliant seeing how Klopp utilizes it. The likes of Trent,
correct.
Van Dijk in the 70th, 75th minute, bring him off, give him rest, bring on a Joe Gomez, see it out in the last sort of 15, 20 minutes. Diaz as well, Elliott off the bench, if he's on the bench, Jones, Carvalho, we've got players who can just come on and utilize that rule. I think it's going to work wonders for us. I think Pep's already said it, that watch me next season with this 5-sub rule. Let's see what happens. Another good omen, last omen, which one, the Omer that you'll probably enjoy, is the last time Liverpool won the league, it was disrupted midway. So with the World Cup, you just never know, mate.
Yeah, it's true. I don't think I can't see it with the World Cup. I can't see a team, maybe any team, hitting 95 sort of points again. But yeah, I think it will be closer. But I just back us. I think super chat here, NBA. How many goals will Nunes score next season? Total plus Premier League goals. Worry about his and Diaz's overall contribution. Avi Mane, 16 Premier League goals. Say something. Firstly, I don't know if you boys want to go around. We'll touch on Liverpool quickly. But I think Nunes, I'll be satisfied with about 20 to 25 in all comps. And then
will he score more than Ayobi?
Come on, man. Come on. It's really hot now. Like,
Don't hold it against him, man. He has his
I think his and Diaz's overall contribution. I think we've got so many goals in that front line, but I do think our two main out goal scorers will be Salah and Nunes. I think Diaz will contribute. He'll probably get the most assists for us. I think he'll be sort of that playmaker in that Diaz, Salah, Nunes front three, just because he's naturally more creative than the other two. So I wouldn't worry about Diaz's overall contribution. I just don't expect everyone to score. It's not Mane, Salah, Mane. What am I saying? It's not Messi, Suarez, Neymar at Barca who all hit 50 goals a season or whatever. It's not that. If that happens, amazing, but it's not. So, like, let's all tone it down a bit. Let's just make sure we have enough of a spread that goals don't seem to dry up, essentially. But
Nunes gets 33 goals next season.
Yeah. We'll just finish off on Liverpool. Quickly. I want each of you guys just to tell me why you think Liverpool are winning the league. Errol, why are Liverpool winning?
I think we're winning the league a little bit well, Grizz. So to be honest, we've got that hunger and that desire to go back. We was hurt. Oh no, it was Avi that said it. We was hurt from last season. I think that it always plays a big factor to us. It adds that extra level of motivation for us. And I think these lads have got something to prove. I think we're equipped to win it. We went deep into all the competitions last season when, let's be honest, other pundits in the game that get paid far more money than we could ever imagine of doing YouTubes. We're predicting Liverpool would fall out of the top four. Yet we went to pretty much played every single available game in the football calendar last season. So this Liverpool team have got the tools, the resources, the know-how. They've got the additions to the squad to do the damage. I just think it comes down to, and I think Grizz made a brilliant point about the World Cup. I think it'll come down to the extra legs and energy that we might be able to have in that back stretch. If we have it in our hands by April, I'd say it's definitely 100% coming over the line this season round.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I think we'll end there because, as Grizz has kindly reminded me, him and Avi have told us why we're going to win the league. Guys, what a show. That's the table prediction. I'm sure we'll come back with our sort of individual player predictions. A few Alex Iwobi player of the season shouts will be there.
Look forward to them.
I'm not going to rep this guy now. Great show. Just one last super chat. How true is the West Ham inquiry for Ox?
Well, if there was something in it, which there was, exactly. So it's dead in the water now. So, yeah, unfortunately, Ox is no good to himself, us, or any other club right now.
Yep, sound. Yeah, that's it, guys. Smash the like button. Let's push this to 400, 500 likes. We'll be back for a part 2. Thank you to Grizz for letting me host. I'll soon have the channel. Errol, Mr. Spence, Mr. Solitaire, side up. Thank you, man. Probably the wisest guy on stream today. And Avi, it's been a pleasure, man, bringing your toxicity back to the channel. So
nice one. And it's good to be back as well. Just a quick shout out to obviously I'm going to be back on the channel Grizz Khan TV. Big shout out to Born and Red as well, another new channel starting up. Just going to be doing some stuff with them. And yeah, Blue Chip TV. Probably just most of the stuff will be non-football related. If you're interested in like crypto and stuff like that, UFC, boxing, and a bit of Liverpool stuff, then yeah, just like and subscribe. But otherwise, GK TV is where it's at.
Banging. And membership. While you're liking this video, click the join button. I think it's $3.99. I think it costs more to take one ride on the London Underground now. So
listen, stop waffling, man. I've got a meeting and you'll keep putting comments up.
Right.
I'm picking you up, man. It's the return of the Avi lunch.
Yes. I told Conroy to say that on WhatsApp. What message?
We're gonna wrap up there because we've got an angry man in the corner. Take your hoodie off. It's hot. See you later, guys. Smash the like.